I read somewhere that Islam could be considered like the religion of a book. My question is, if the things are standing on like that, is it not the risk that in the future Islam might be divided but by various understanding of Quran?
Well, we don't have to wait. It's already happened. Islam is divided into different sects. Probably less than some major world religions, I guess, depending on how you define a division. But the issue I mentioned of the Quran being uncreated is an example. This early sect of the Mu'tazilites said the Quran has to be created, otherwise we haven't got a unitary God. The Ash'arites, Islamic Sunni orthodoxy, says the Quran is God's uncreated speech subsisting with him from before time. That was a big issue for them, and for a while the Abbasid Caliphate imposed the doctrine of the createdness of the Quran on people. There was a sign above all of the entrances to the mosque that said, Al-Quran, Kalamullah al-Makhluq, the Quran is God's created speech. If you didn't accept that, you couldn't go to the mosque. That inquisition eventually failed. But to this day, one of the doctrinal differences between most Sunni Muslims and most Shi'i Muslims is that doctrine over the Quran. Most Shi'i Muslims, following somebody called a Shaykh al-Mufid, follow the doctrine of somebody called Al-Qadi Abdul on the Quran, which is that it is created. Whereas the Ash'aris, the Sunnis, say no, it's uncreated. So, yeah, the divisions are real. The new kind of divisions that we are beginning to see, as well as the old ones still being alive and well, are likely to be over social teachings in the Quran and whether they're to be literally applied under modern circumstances. But generally the arguments there are to do with hadith, because as I said, the laws of Islam primarily don't come from the Quran, they come from the hadith and from subsequent judicial discussions. But certainly the great modern division in Judaism has been over whether the detailed commandments in the Torah are still required for us today in gold is green, or whether we take a kind of general ethical principle out of them. The religion is split down the middle into orthodox and liberal on the basis of how you read scripture. No imminent sign of that happening yet for the Quran, but there are some people who think that the religion should move in that direction. There is liberal interpretations, but for reasons that it would be very interesting to explore, there hasn't been a large, consistently worked out, popular, liberal rereading of Islam in the modern world. People like conservative forms of the religion, or they just go off and be secular.